as dusk painted the suburban horizon in shades of purple and orange. Lily and Tom Sutton found an unusual visitor at their doorstep. A potted fern, with leaves so deeply green they seemed almost black. It carried no note, save for a hastily scrawled signature on the pot's bottom. A kind neighbor. As Lily placed the plant on their living room mantel, an inexplicable chill passed through the room, rattling the window panes in a cacophony that faded as quickly as it escalated. Later that evening, as the couple settled into their new home, the plant's presence loomed larger than its size suggested. Shadows stretched unnaturally long in the corners, and the faint scent of damp earth clung to the air long after the sun had set. Tom brushed it off as new home nerves, but there was something unsettling about the way the leaves fluttered despite the stillness in the room. Nightfall brought with it a strange sound, soft but unmistakable, the faint whisper of a baby's cry emanating from the fern's direction. Tom dismissed it as an odd trick of acoustics, yet Lily swore she heard it distinct and clear, piercing the sleepy silence. As the cries subsided, the couple drifted into uneasy sleep, unaware of the seeds of horror planted with their gifted fern. The following day passed in a haze of settling in, boxes unpacking, and cordial introductions to the neighbors. Mrs. Hemmings from 2 doors down was particularly chatty, her eyes flitting nervously whenever the haunted house at the corner of Elms Avenue was mentioned. "They say it's cursed, you know," she whispered conspiratorially, her eyes on the Suttons' peculiar fern. "Careful what you bring into these old neighborhoods." Tom laughed at the notion, but Lily couldn't shake the heavy feeling that had settled in her chest. After dinner, a tense quiet claimed the house, amplified by the absence of city hums. The fern seemed to have grown slightly taller, its leaves reaching out like fingers yearning for a touch. As midnight approached, the crying resumed louder this time, with an urgency that clawed at Lily's nerves. She crept towards the living room, the sobs guiding her. Reaching the mantel, she hesitated, her breath catching as she saw dewdrops glistening on the leaves, mimicking tears. She touched one experimentally, expecting the cool wetness of water, but finding instead warmth, as though the plant itself had a pulse. Lily's sleep was fitful, punctuated by half-formed nightmares filled with crying children and shadowed figures that seemed to breathe with the walls themselves. She awoke to find Tom already up and troubled by the account she had given him the night before. Determined to rationalize their shared disquiet, Tom suggested they investigate the plant. A local nursery was their first stop. The keeper, an elderly woman named Martha, eyed the plant with suspicion laced with pity. "That's an asphodel," she remarked. "Don't see many of them around here. Legend states they're a doorway, a bridge between the living and the dead." Her words hung thick in the air, dredging up forgotten superstitions in a modern world. Returning home, the couple felt the weight of the nursery keeper's words echoing in their minds. Unconvinced by the explanation. They delved into the plant's symbolism, unearthing tales of bridges to the beyond, acts unbeckoned from the past, revisiting the present. That evening, the crying from the fern changed tunefully, growing into a chorus, riddled with whispers of long-dead memories. The chill of autumn settled in, and with it, an extra layer of tension enveloped the Sutton household. Neighbors whispered behind closed doors, recalling strange happenings of the past. Unnerved, Lily insisted on reaching out to the enigmatic neighbor who'd left the fern. But Tom hesitated, relying on logical explanations. That night, they heard not just cries, but muffled voices, uttering words in a language neither could comprehend. The sound ebbed and flowed with a rhythm not of their world, each intonation slipping just beyond the edge of understanding. In the dead of night, the air crawled along their skin like the slow slide of chilled sweat. Compelled by forces unseen, Lily scribbled the phrases she thought she heard, her handwriting jagged and desperate. The sounds frightened, yet enticed. A tantalizing siren song calling from another realm. The relentless chanting continued as the shadows within shadows began to stir, shaping into ghostly hands caressing the room's surface. Isolation became the Suttons' reality as friends and family were pushed away by the inescapable aura of unease now synonymous with their home. Lily's sketches grew frantic, depicting darker visions. Tom found himself arguing with nobody, a stress-born habit that filled the periods of eerie stillness. The plants around the home withered, seemingly drained of life as the fern thrived. Its tendrils coiled melancholically, almost serpentine, as if aware of its malign influence. Every leaf rustle was a disturbed whisper in the silence, every fallen leaf a lost resolve, leaving them haunted and hollowed. In utter desperation, they contacted a notable paranormal researcher, Joseph Mathers, known for his investigations into the arcane and the unexplained. His keen interest and understanding of the dark legends surrounding such artifacts brought a ray of hope to the disquiet that had swallowed their lives. Joseph Mathers entered the Suttons' life like a whirlwind, assessing the house with a focused intensity that bordered on obsession. His presence was a strange relief, bringing structure to their chaos. Yet it was clear that the investigator was as intrigued by their plight as he was unnervingly aware of the danger. Eyes keen with knowledge, Joseph examined the plant, his fingers brushing the leaves with reverence, framed by caution. He taught the Suttons protective chants to ward off encroaching malevolence, though their resonance felt fragile against the penetrating cries that continued unchecked each night. Joseph discovered pieces of a larger puzzle, prior instances of cursed objects scattered through local history, each connected to the same shadowed corner of folklore where plants were cursed to bear voices of the lost. The revelations knitted dread into every breath and heartbeat, giving form to their abstract fears. With the roots of their fears uncovered, but not removed. Lily and Tom clung to Joseph's guidance like lifelines. Yet, as dusk fell into night, the tangible shroud of menace pressed tighter. Shadows followed specters, and whispers sang their haunting chorus tirelessly. On one particularly harrowing evening, the house thundered with ominous groans from unseen things. Candles flickered in a rhythmic dance, a pulse shared with the voices that they had come to dread. Driven to madness, Tom finally destroyed a part of the plant, hoping to silence its siren song. The brief reprieve was costly, for in disrupting the fern, new echoes emerged, tones of fury replaced sorrow. A spiritual war unfolded, the house itself pulsating with anger, objects ominously rearranging themselves amidst the ever-present crying, now accompanied by wrathful winds from beyond. In an effort to understand, Joseph invoked a seance, hoping to commune with the spirits tethered to the fern. The candles arranged around it flickered like solemn watchers in a witness circle, their flames dimming as an oppressive calm swept through the room. The air vibrated with ethereal energy, drawing forth ephemeral apparitions that hovered at the room's edge, spectral faces twisted in forms of silent longing. Lily cried out, her voice swallowed by the unearthly quiet, as shadows deepened into bruises against the fading wallpaper. Through Joseph's guidance, the spirits began to speak, sharing fragmented visions of past lives and unending sorrow. The narrative was draped in cryptic allegories, hinting at unresolved regrets that kept them bound to this mortal coil. The decorative ceramic crafted pot housing the fern glowed, a throbbing heart of malediction within their trembling world. As the seance subsided, revelations soaked in opalescent light littered their minds. The spirits desired release, their wails mere echoes of their earthly bonds. Lily, spurred by compassion, yearned to ease their plight, but knew not how. Joseph proposed a cleansing ritual, a reclamation of the natural order, entwined with the language of spirits and rituals, undisturbed by the passage of time. It required cooperation from elements rarely seen, artifacts sanctified by history and untainted blood, capable of mending the rift. Gathering the necessary components drew the Suttons and Joseph deeper into the folklore, bleeding into reality. As the ritual approached, the house swirled with a contained storm, illusions bending walls and light into expressions of despair that chilled the soul. The night chosen for the final confrontation came shrouded in fog, blurring the lines between this realm and the next. Under the waning moon's watchful eye, the Suttons and Joseph prepared their souls for battle against unseen enmity. Lily felt the oppressive fog seep into her bones, a heavy hand of dread that mirrored the impending challenge they'd faced. Arcane drawings encircled the fern, whose presence bristled with anticipation as a strange energy coursed through its leaves. As the ritual began, old wounds were laid bare, the room rippling with generational pain. Voices erupted, a cataclysmic cacophony that sought to drown out their right. But with steely resolve, Joseph countered every ghostly howling with chants forged in forgotten dialects of power. The ritual climaxed with a gut-wrenching howl, tearing through the house like a storm unleashed from bottled fury. Secrets entwined with curses broke free, suspended in a timeless dance of grief and release. The fern's pot cracked, spilling earth onto the floor where it pooled like veins reaching out, changing hue with the ghostly tides. A chilling breeze carried the scent of gardenias and old rain, whispering tales of liberation among the swirling leaves and soil. As the final word was uttered, the plant wilted in a freeze frame of sudden defeat, its life force relinquishing the spirits far beyond the garden, where real and otherworldly converged briefly in silence. Morning birthed itself gently, diffusing soft colors against an awoken sky. Within their reclaimed home, the Suttons stood in a realm unfamiliar, yet welcoming, where shadows held no malice and whispers were absent. Joseph, with the weary wisdom of a veteran returned from battle, surveyed the house with subdued eyes. His work complete, he offered parting counsel and truth. The echoes of the past now left behind like fading footprints on a dew-kissed path, grateful yet changed. Lily and Tom acknowledged the sublime emptiness void of echoed cries that once pervaded their lives. The fern, now a heap of dried leaves, retained no power. It was a testament to the victory forged through courage and belief in that which shadows unseen still gripped their dreams.